I want to do a demonstration of the AWS Management Console, and specifically I want us to take a look at those infrastructure services that I was just talking about, specifically compute, networking, storage, database, routing, and things of that nature. But I'm doing it not necessarily to do a walkthrough of each of those areas, but to show you how many different services Amazon provides within the scope of those different categories. So let's head on over into the console. Okay, here we are in the AWS Management Console, and this is the front page. There's no links to anything here other than links to some very standard launching of particular types of services, virtual machines, web apps, so on and so forth. But let's actually take a look at the different services. So if I click on services here, you'll see there are a number of different services that all fall under the compute category. EC2 is going to be the one that we're going to be focusing on here, but you'll see Lightsail, ECR, ECS, and EKS, which are all container-based. Lambda is serverless. Batch, Elastic Beanstalk is a deployment engine for web applications, and so on. Then we have storage, of which S3 falls under, but then you also have file shares that you can take advantage of if your application happens to require it. We also have archival storage, as well as AWS backups for your virtual machines. And I'm just scrolling through these very quickly. Databases, RDS, I will talk about, although not in great detail. But then you also have some NoSQL-based databases such as DynamoDB, Redshift, and so on. If we scroll back up, we can also then take a look at things like management and governance. And this is where CloudWatch falls into play. AWS autoscaling, which we will absolutely be talking about when we cover load balancing and high availability. You've got OpsWorks here, which is where you can define your configuration management using a Redshift or a Chef-based design. You can also do configuration management. CloudTrail, I talked about, is one of the logging capabilities. So there are a lot of different capabilities here underneath of your Amazon Management Console. In addition, we also have the ability to look at resource groups. Now, I want to talk about this. Although this isn't a primary feature of the course, I do at least want to cover it because I'm going to be deploying things into resource groups. Resource groups within the scope of Amazon is just a way for you to bring a set of resources together that for you all fall under the same category. So for example, maybe you have deployed a Oracle-based application. Maybe you're using Oracle's ERP system, or maybe you're using PeopleSoft. And all of the servers, VMs, networking, storage, so on, that make up that deployment, you want to be able to provide a quick and easy way to secure them all together, but also to be able to get a cost breakdown of that application separate from everything else so that you can make sure that you're meeting your budgets. Resource groups provide you a way for you to synchronize all of those resources together into one logical box, put security around that logical box, and then spit all information about those resources under the same resource group name in your billing reports. You can also then add tags to your resources to provide even additional levels of filtering around those particular resources. So you create the groups and then you place your resources within those groups to provide you all of those capabilities. So this is just a really basic walkthrough, and I'm not, you've noticed, I have not gone through each of the individual services. We're going to be covering that kind of functionality in another course, but I at least wanted to quickly show this to you and show you in particular under services, there's a lot here that we're not going to be talking about, but that are still going to be important for you to potentially learn with respect to your cloud deployments beyond maybe even your infrastructure ones. So hopefully this was very valuable, and I'll see you in the next video when we start to talk about high availability.